Et ce sera l'échappée. Davidov, le tir est là!
Philippe Danault returns to the Montreal Canadiens lineup. He moves on to a line with Alexandre Texier and Josh Anderson taking the place of Josh Evans. Martin St. Louis decides he's going to scratch Owen Beck and Adam Engstrom. Personally, I hate that decision, especially taking Beck out. He's been playing so well lately and coming into his own as a bottom six center. Samuel Blais stays in the lineup instead of Beck. Struble replaces Engstrom. So for the fourth line, right now it's Veleno centering Blais and Gallagher. Struble pairs with Xhekaj. Fowler gets another start for the Canadiens, his first ever in Boston where he played all of his college hockey. Habs and Bruins are separated by just 2 points in the standings and Montreal has only 1 game in hand. This is an opportunity to create a tiny bit of separation in the standings and tie Detroit for the division lead with a win. Jacob Fowler, 4 games, 2-1-1, 249 goals against average and a .915 save percentage, and on the other end of the ice for the Boston Bruins, it's Jeremy Swayman. His record, 14-9-1 with a .278 goals against average and a .906 save percentage. He's only ever lost 1 game in regulation to the Montreal Canadiens, and this one gets started real quick. Big scrap, Josh Anderson and Tanner Jeannot throwing bombs. Both of them chucking right-handers at each other. Really good tilt. Credit to Josh Anderson for going toe-to-toe with one of the strongest fighters in the NHL. Really good job. Jeannot obviously got a little bit of the better of it, but Anderson did admirably. And this one stays physical, and there are lots of penalties for both teams in the first period. Montreal ends up with the first chance to strike with their power play. They don't really generate much though. Bolduc is back on the first unit instead of Ivan Demidov, and it did not look good, especially early. Nothing really gets generated on the Montreal Canadiens power play, and they start to lean on Jacob Fowler. He has to make some really strong saves. Comes up huge for the Montreal Canadiens early. Montreal missed their chances, and then another scrap. This time, 2 of the heavyweights of the NHL, Arber Xhekaj and Nikita Zadorov going at it. Mano a mano, a pair of total monsters. Zadorov gets the better of Xhekaj, but credit to Arber. He takes some vicious punches, stays on his feet, and starts swinging back the other way. The 2 of them eventually go down to the ice. Another big tilt by a couple of big boys. Crazy start to this one. 2 fights in the first 8.5 minutes. Typical Montreal and Boston stuff. You love to see this rivalry getting back to what it once was. The Canadiens continue to struggle with discipline though. Juraj Slafkovsky ends up taking an interference penalty. The Bruins go to another power play and Jacob Fowler has to be really sharp again. Montreal kills it off and they end up getting real lucky as Samuel Blais takes a shot from behind the red line, and he does this on purpose, credit to him. Even though it's a bit fluky, he did plan this. Banks it off the head of Jeremy Swayman and into the back of the Bruins net. Gives the Canadiens a 1-0 lead. We'll take it. I mean, they did not play the greatest start to the first period. They were getting outchanced a little bit by the Bruins, but they go up 1-0. Then Mike Matheson really struggled, particularly defensively in this game. Just moments after the Canadiens grab the lead, it's a terrible giveaway by Mike Matheson. Really cost the team. And it's a trend I've noticed in the last couple games. Montreal scores a goal and immediately allows one. Fowler gets totally hung out to dry. Terrible giveaway by Matheson. Fowler makes the first save, but Boston gets the rebound. The defensive zone coverage completely misses Kuznetsov. He's wide open in front of the net. He draws the Bruins even. It's 1-1. Montreal really sloppy on that play. They've got to stop doing this. When you get a lead, you cannot respond with your 3rd or 4th line and then just forget that you're playing a hockey game. It's happened way too often this year. I'd like to see Marty St. Louis move away from that approach. He keeps going out with the 3rd and 4th lines after scoring a goal. Keep going, keep pressing offensively. Don't sit back on your heels. This is what happens. And it's kind of that compounding effect for the Montreal Canadiens. They give up a goal and they kind of start to panic. So what happens? They start giving up more chances. The defense gets looser and looser, and they end up letting more players into the slot. They're giving up more high danger chances. Arvidsson goes in close. Brendan Gallagher takes a bad penalty. Bruins go to another power play. Their 2nd already of the period. Fowler, again, Montreal's best penalty killer. He makes a couple really nice saves on the penalty kill. The Canadiens survive it. Montreal gets their shot. They get their 2nd power play after Arvidsson gets called for a slash. Montreal's power play again does almost nothing. And right as the Canadiens' power play is expiring, Ivan Demidov takes a penalty of his own, puts the Bruins onto their 3rd power play of the period, and what do you think happens? Jacob Fowler cannot keep doing it all on his own. He's made great saves. Unfortunately, he gets beat by Steves here. It's a shot he'd probably like to have back, but for how many great saves Jacob Fowler made in this game, I'm not going to hold him accountable for this one. This is on the Canadiens. You give up 17 shots in a period and 3 power plays. You're lucky to get into the intermission only down 2-1, and that's what happens. Fowler was very strong. Montreal's offense was virtually non-existent throughout the first period. Their only goal was really fluky. I know it was planned, but that's a really lucky goal. And Montreal's defense was just falling into those same tired habits of allowing a revolving door of opposing players into the slot. It's like Montreal's allergic to having a lead after scoring first. In back-to-back games, they've allowed a goal within a minute of scoring, and it just kills their momentum. The Habs power play, total mess in the first period. I'm not sure why Bolduc was moved onto the first unit instead of Demidov. It doesn't work. The penalty kill was strong until right at the end of the period. Fowler finally gave in, but I mean 17 shots, 3 power plays, that's not a winning strategy. You're not going to win that many games. And the slot chances were 9-2 in favor of the Bruins. Montreal, get your heads out of your asses and smarten up for the second period. The physical stuff continues in this one. Alexandre Texier gets just hammered into the boards by Fraser Minten. He takes forever getting off. It leads to a Bruins chance, and we end up finding out that Alexandre Texier went out with a neck injury. He did not return to this game. We'll see how long he's out for. But Fowler bails out the Canadiens with a big save, and what happens? They come back down the other way. Ivan Demidov catches the Bruins asleep. He picks up a loose puck at center ice, blows by everyone, Deke Swayman out of his pants, and ties the game at 2. Now, Montreal, you've gotten it tied. You haven't really deserved it. Take advantage of your good fortune and your opportunism. Improve the way you're playing now. And overall in the second period, it was a better effort by the Canadiens, but still far from perfect. And Jacob Fowler had to bail out the Canadiens on a couple of occasions. Mike Matheson, another terrible play, misses the puck, ends up in a breakaway for the Bruins. Fowler bails him out. Anderson ends up taking a penalty for the Canadiens. This is their 4th minor penalty of the game. You cannot keep taking penalties against the Boston Bruins. On the power play, Pasternak just misses a cross-crease chance, but the refs miss a high stick. Pasternak's stick goes right under the chin of Jacob Fowler. You can see him complaining to the referees. You look at it on the replay. It's a clear high stick, no call. But Canadiens survive the PK. Not many chances on goal for the Bruins. Good job by the Habs. Canadiens keep trying to push. They're trying to find that go-ahead goal, and the teams trade chances back and forth. Lots of physical play, big body checks, and now it's the Bruins' lack of discipline that cost them. They take a penalty. Steves gets a high stick up on Dobson. It's a double minor. You look at Dobson, he actually takes his glove off, taps his face during play, says, oh, there's some blood there, stops, shows it to the referee, all while the play is still rolling, says, yeah, that's going to be 4 minutes. 4 minutes, guys. And sure as hell, 4-minute power play for the Montreal Canadiens. But what do they do with it? Hardly a thing. Alexandre Texier is out injured now. So who goes onto the unit instead of Texier? Josh Anderson on the second unit? What? Nothing happens for the second unit. Nothing happens for the first unit. They just aren't clicking with Zachary Bolduc out there. You need to get Ivan Demidov on the first unit. I don't know why he was moved off, but Marty, get it through your head. He's your most talented player. Get him on the power play. With just a couple seconds left in the period, the Bruins look like they score the go-ahead goal, but immediately the referee waves it off, says no, there was goalie interference. That does not count. You look at the replay, it's really close. It looks like the contact was initiated by Pasternak, but you could argue either way, and with how replays go in the NHL for goalie interference, I have no idea how this one would have gone. The Bruins elect not to challenge that the referees ruled it no goal for goalie interference, so we go into the second intermission, still tied at 2. It was a better effort overall for the Montreal Canadiens. An early goal got them right back into it. It was more even in terms of the chances for, but you still took a bad penalty. You gave the Bruins too many chances to reclaim momentum or take the lead in this one. Power play hasn't worked. Bolduc on the first unit, not working. Fix it. Get away from it. Boston is still far outchancing the Canadiens in terms of high danger chances. They have to get some more dangerous opportunities. So the Canadiens come out in the third period, and this is by far their best period of the night. They start getting chances right away, and while they're a little bit snake bitten, they keep pressing, and they finally get a lucky break. They've had so many broken sticks go against them the last couple games. This time, it's their turn to take advantage. The Bruins defender's stick explodes. The puck goes right to Bolduc. He works it into the zone, finds Hudson on the side. Hudson waits, sees Suzuki streaking down the middle all alone. Suzuki tries to play it in close. He loses the puck. It goes off the pad of Swayman, but comes right out to Zachary Bolduc. Bolduc hammers it home. He gives the Canadiens a 3-2 lead, and the Bruins end up challenging this one for goalie interference. They say that there's contact with Suzuki, but you look at the replay, it's pretty clear to me. Swayman initiates the contact. It also happens outside of the crease. It's a very quick review by the officials. The call ends up being confirmed. The Bruins take a penalty for delay of game, so the Canadiens are up 3-2, and they go to the power play. And Jacob Fowler makes 2 saves that turn this game on its head. The Bruins are only down by a goal. They're shorthanded. Montreal gives up a brutal chance, and Jacob Fowler comes up with 2 massive saves. Completely robs Boston, and the power play continues. Nick Suzuki ends up getting leveled. A bit of a dirty hit by McAvoy. He was running all around, making all sorts of plays that were real questionable, and finally the lack of discipline for the Bruins catches up to them. They throw a late hit after the whistle onto Zachary Bolduc. Jeannot ends up going off. It's a 5-on-3. Finally, Marty puts Ivan Demidov out on the first unit, and what happens? Another broken stick that works in Montreal's favor. Dawson tries to hammer a slap shot off a pass from Demidov. The stick explodes, the puck goes right to Cole Caulfield, and take a look at the filthy stick handling by Cole Caulfield on this play. Oh my goodness. Makes Jeremy Swayman look absolutely silly. Terrific goal. Canadiens up 4-2. Still on the power play, mind you. And the Bruins' lack of discipline continues, and there's no doubt about it. You can't question this next call. Canadiens coming down the boards. Lindholm gets his stick in the skates, takes his man down. It's another 5-on-3 for the Canadiens, and this is your chance. Bury the Bruins. Do not let them hang around in this game. This is your chance to cut their throats, and what do the Canadiens do? Exactly that. Ivan Demidov to Noah Dobson, again on the first unit. Demidov with Dobson on this 5-on-3. Dobson hammers a slap shot, deflected by Slavkovsky, up into the air, and Nick Suzuki, Johnny on the spot, whacks it home, baseball style, right out of midair. 5-2 Montreal, just taking it to the Bruins, and that power play continues because you score this one before the first penalty expired. Montreal continues pressing. Jacob Fowler makes a few more nice saves for the Canadiens in this period, and not to be outdone by his teammates, Juraj Slavkovsky says, I want to get in on this one. Lane Hutson sets him up with a one-timer. Hudson's 3rd apple of the game. My goodness, this kid is just spectacular. I think he might hit 80 points this season. At the rate he's going, he's going to be close. I think 70 is definitely a realistic target. Maybe we'll see 80 points for Lane Hutson. It would be just nuts. But Juraj Slavkovsky's offensive development continues. Another goal, another point for him. The second line was just fantastic for Montreal. They were their best line all night long. Montreal's play improved with each period. The third period was their strongest and most complete all around by far. They got fortunate with the go-ahead goal, but they seized their opportunities when they came to them. Boston challenged at the wrong time. They probably should have challenged that goal at the end of the second period that didn't count. Instead, they ended up costing themselves. They took a penalty, and then undisciplined play by the Bruins gave the Canadiens 2 5-on-3 power plays, and the Canadiens took full advantage of that. Ivan Demidov on the first unit, that's the key, Marty. Please don't lose sight of that. They scored 2 power play goals. They put the game completely out of reach. They didn't hesitate to bury the Boston Bruins mercilessly, and it is so satisfying to lay the smackdown on the Bruins in Boston. For the first time, the Canadiens win in Boston since 2019. It's a huge 2 points. It puts the Canadiens into a tie for first in the division. They're 5-1-2 in their last 8, going into the Christmas break. Even in their losses, they're getting points. They're getting those crucial OT losses. They're starting to string together wins in regulation. It's a huge, huge game for the Canadiens. 5 more road games to go after the Christmas break. Let's see how the boys do. It's going to be really tough going against Florida, Tampa, Carolina, some of the elites of the Eastern Conference, and everything is so tight. They're going to have to be sure they're at their very, very best. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you thought in the comments section down below. If you made it to the end of the video, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Take a look at the Discord server. The link is in the description down below, and have a great night, guys.